Hello gamers from around the world, this is Boxenberger, the video game enthusiast from Germany, and I would like to welcome you to this week's episode of the World of Gaming, and we are here on a Friday, which is unusual for us, and I know we have big competition in parallel going on with the Xbox 2 podcast. That's why we usually don't do our show on Fridays, but I had to work a little late yesterday and I was just not able to prepare anything. So we decided to go on live here on a Friday, Dutch. And I'm excited. We have a couple of cool topics to talk about here today. But first, I want to welcome our awesome community. I see a few familiar names already in the chat. Big welcome to you guys. A big welcome to everyone who listens after the fact, either here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, wherever you're listening. Big welcome. And Dutch, my man, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm glad it's the end of the week. I'm glad it's the weekend, and I'm looking forward to a lie-in.
Absolutely. You know what? Before we start with the show, I need to share a proud dad moment here today with you, Dutch. Earlier today, my youngest son, he's 8 years old, came to me and asked, Daddy, can a couple of friends come over tomorrow? And I was like, sure. I was thinking they wanted to, I don't know, go outside, play something, you know, what the 8-year-olds do. And then he revealed to me that all his friends will bring their Switch with him to our house, and they want to play video games, Pokemon mainly. So I immediately thought of you, and yes. I was like really proud that they are not meeting like online or somewhere, you know. It reminded me a little bit, you know, of the old LAN parties that we had back in our youth, where they all come together. And then he asked, and can we order pizza? And I was like, dude, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Pizza and pop and crisps
and they gonna
you can
do
still past your bedtime and play games.
yeah. You know, all I hear is apparently all the kids do is play Roblox and that stuff, and I cannot confirm that. And my kids, the friends of my kids, they all do not like to play on their tablets. They love their consoles. Some of them have a PlayStation, some of them have a Switch. You know, Xbox is... Nobody has an Xbox in Germany. But I cannot confirm that based on the friends of my kids, and I'm very proud that they've never done that before. They've played online, of course, together, but they've never played like in a room, and I'm really proud of him. That's the way. So we're gonna order pizza tomorrow for the kids, and they're gonna have a Switch party. Man,
nice.
I tried to explain to him earlier that back in my days we didn't have like a portable Switch where we just can't go easily to friends' house. We had to move our PCs over there.
And only later did we get a very big Game Boy.
Yeah, and then and he was like, "But dude." He didn't say dude, but why didn't you take your laptop with you? And I explained to him, okay, we go downstairs, you have a look at what a PC looked like, and I showed him my desktop tower, and I had to carry that throughout the entire city because my mom never drove me when we went to my friends, because he always said, if you want to play video games, I'm not going to drive you. And so I had to like walk 30 minutes to my friends, carry my desktop, walk back, carry the monitor over there, you know.
Well, and the monitor itself was bigger than the house.
Exactly. Nevertheless, I'm proud that they are still doing that, and of course I'm gonna support that. So
yeah.
All right, Dutch. We're gonna have an awesome show here today. We have lots to talk about. great game reveals this week. Some interesting interviews with Matt Booty. A couple of interesting stuff Asha proposed. We have a very interesting... and I've not seen one podcast or show talk about this, but Steam actually revealed their statistics about where do people play, what hardware do people use, and we're gonna have an in-depth look here because I think that's really interesting to put some of these expectations about the next-gen consoles into perspective. And so we have plenty to talk about. Gonna be an awesome show. But first, Dutch, before we talk about all the news of the week, we need to talk about the most important part in gaming, and that's, of course, the games we are playing. So everyone in the chat, let us know, what are you guys playing at the moment? And Dutch, what kept you busy?
I'll let you have a singular guess.
Well, obviously Pokemon.
Yes.
And you did not listen to my absolute recommendation, and you did not get Crimson Desert, and I need to say, Dutch, I'm a little disappointed here.
Yeah, I didn't end up getting it, and it was, again, mainly down to time available. Even the amount that I've been playing Pokopia has been in bed an hour on a night. I guess you could say, well, you could just buy yourself an Xbox One Ally too. But
you don't listen to me, dude.
But I don't have one, so I'm playing on the Switch.
It's on sale at the moment. The Xbox Rock Ally and the Rock Ally X both are on sale here in Germany at the moment.
Interesting.
So maybe you should. I've seen it on sale at the German MediaMarkt and German Amazon. So I'm not sure if it's just a German thing at the moment.
Possibly.
Could
I'll have
be.
to have a look. I haven't seen anything. But yeah, just Pokopia. But I finished the actual story on Pokopia. So now it's just essentially free rule. Just do what you want.
Sweet.
Maximize things out, etc. So no, that's all I've actually been playing. I haven't touched anything else. I haven't switched the Xbox or PlayStation on. I'm going to hope to play something this weekend. I don't know what. I'm just going to get myself into a nice relaxed mindset and then pick something up to play. But I still haven't. There's quite a few things I still haven't finished.
Go get Crimson Desert, dude.
Nah, I want to finish a couple of things. I want to finish a couple of things that I'm like semi-way through, or that I know, like, in terms of story length, I'm not too far away from the end. I'm maybe like 6-7 hours away from the end of it or something like that. So I'll finish something else off. Change a little bit of change of pace.
I need to convince you about that Crimson Desert thing, dude.
It's just because it's so massive.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of it. It's a world you can absolutely get lost in, and there's so much to discover, and it's so rewarding. And
my only issue with that is that I don't have time to get lost in it.
You will make the time and find the time.
I feel like in an hour I wouldn't get much done.
Yeah. So let's see, what has the community been playing? Mr. Glass has been playing Styx. Ooh. It's almost retro. Nice. But Styx actually isn't that bad. I don't think it got the flag. It deserves the flag it got. So
I think that was on. Was Styx on PC by any chance? Because I'm sure that was on Epic Games not too long ago for free.
That could be. I've stopped looking at these free Epic
Sometimes they're really good, other days they're horrific.
Yeah. But usually if it's a game that I would be interested in, I usually do own it in some of the other stores,
Yeah. Like there's a couple on Epic that I got, especially just before Christmas. Hogwarts Legacy was on there, so obviously naturally.
Oh, okay.
I got that.
Mr. Glass added, there's 3 of them, and the newest one just released. I have not seen that at all. There's a Styx 3?
Yeah, I've got both of them on Epic Games. Three Kingdoms, Total War, Styx, Master of Shadows, Styx, Shards of Darkness. Nobody wants to
Interesting.
die.
Need to look into
Yeah.
that. Good stuff here. Tim the Sorcerer says, like Boxenberger, I played Witcher 3 multiple times, and now the last 2 weeks, first time he touched Cyberpunk, and he's loving it. He got the ultimate version on PC. I mean, Cyberpunk is fantastic. Fantastic RPG, especially after the 2.0 release with the add-on. You can never go wrong with that. Analog AI is playing Crimson Desert. He's 80 plus hours in and in Act 4 still. Ooh. So I rolled actually the credits for Crimson Desert earlier today. I played like an hour or so before the show. I was already at the final boss. I think I need to check, but I think I'm somewhere in between 120 and 130 hours in. And yeah, I rolled the credits. Now it's just the epilogue left to do for me. But of course, there's still plenty of side stuff I haven't done. I have done plenty of the side stuff. I think if you would just focus on the main campaign, you could finish that game. I would say something in the ballpark of 40 hours or so.
Yeah.
35, 40 hours just for the main story. So I've done plenty of the side stuff, not all of it. But yeah, man, it is an absolute phenomenal game. I haven't played anything else. I wanted to start Replays. I wanted to start Starfield, but I'm just so immersed in Crimson Desert. Truly one of the best games in the last decade I've played. It's a fantastic open world action RPG. Yes, the story is not superb. It's okay. The way how it ended now, it's good. It's a good, okay-ish story, but everything else about the game is absolutely fantastic. I love how you can discover stuff just walking around. You find it is a massive open world, but it does not feel empty at all. There's around every corner something to discover, and there's just so many different things to discover. It's not all the same, Sometimes you discover an old sanctum and there's a riddle in it, and then the next time you discover an interesting side quest, and the next time you discover a certain mini game like, I don't know, arm wrestling or something. There's just so much in there. You have a base camp that you can build up. There is like an entire trading system included. If you want to make money like that, there's a broker system. Yeah, you can buy like gold and then see if the stock prices rise or fall and stuff like that. There's just it's an insane amount of content in there. And it's all optional. The game never forces you to grind. I've not once had the feeling I need to grind for something or do something I do not want to do. Like, for instance, I hate the fishing mechanic in that game. But then just don't do it. It's never forcing something onto you. And do the side stuff or do it not. You can absolutely go through the main story without having the need to grind and do a lot of fetch quests or whatnot, just to level your character up. There's nothing like that in that game. And it's insanely beautiful. Like, even after 120 hours, you still discover places in that world that make your jaw drop to the floor because it's just so drop dead gorgeous. It's absolutely fantastic. And Tim the Sorcerer also says, yeah, the music isn't bad either. Yeah, true. It's actually fantastic. and the way how they implemented it when you transition over in between exploring and going into a bandit camp, and it's super well done. I haven't decided on a final score yet, but it is close to a 10. Maybe not a full 10, but very close to it for me. I'm absolutely loving it, and I'm kind of sad it's over, man. I'm still gonna keep it installed, and we'll go back from time to time and do mop up some of the side stuff, because I'm gonna miss that world.
Yeah.
But now I intend to go back to Starfield, play the DLC, and Replaced is also out. I've installed that on the Xbox as well as on my Rock Ally X. Definitely be going to play that over the weekend. But yeah, man, Crimson Desert was absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. So, did we miss someone in the chat? Don't think so. Mr. Glass says he's going to buy. I'm going to buy a new game. Should I buy Crimson Desert or Resident Evil Requiem? Well, both are fantastic. Very different games. I mean, Resident Evil Requiem is probably. I mean, I'm still in that phase of recency bias, you know. Ask me like in 6 months or so, but it could end up being my favorite Resident Evil to date. I think Requiem was phenomenal. But it's a linear horror game, right? You're probably going to finish that in 10, 11 hours. If you're looking for an experience that can take you easily above the 100-hour mark, an open world game, go for Crimson Desert. You can't go wrong with either of them. But two very different games, and I just feel like Crimson Desert is one of the standout games in recent years that I have played. I haven't been that hooked with a game in many, many years. So the choice is up to you. You can't go wrong with either of them, Crimson Desert or Resident Evil. But they are very different. So, Dutch.
Yes.
Let's see. The community has voted to watch some gameplay from Crimson Desert here today, which is fantastic. So I'm gonna close that poll real quick. Put on some gameplay. Gameplay from the earlier part in the game. I do not want to spoil too much, so think that gameplay is when I was in Act 3, 4, 5 maybe, somewhere in that ballpark. Earlier in the game, definitely. Alright, Dutch. Gonna go and play Replaced, by the way?
Yeah, I'll play Replaced, yeah.
Yeah. I've played the demo a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And that demo was fantastic. So I cannot wait to play that, man. Definitely be going to play that over the weekend. All right.
Nice.
All right. Sweet. So, let's get into some news, dude. We had a new Xbox format mini show yesterday. Xbox First Look, which highlighted the reveal of Metro 2039, 15 minutes long in-depth look into the next Metro game. First of all, again, new format from Xbox. We haven't had that, and it's kind of interesting to see, because during the partner preview that aired 3-4 weeks ago, right, they announced also this Xbox Presents format with that fighting game. I'm blanking on the name. Anyway, somewhere in May they want to do an Xbox Presents, and now we have an Xbox First Look. So kind of interesting to see that they have kind of different formats, or toying around with different new formats. I like the idea of a First Look. I mean, it reminded me of the Developer Direct, just with one game.
Yeah.
And boy, was that a good game. Are you a Metro fan?
Yeah, I've got all of them. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've played them, but I've got all of them. I've even got the remastered trilogy or whatever it is.
Ah, sweet. I only do have the originals because I bought them all day one when they came out. I love Metro Man. Especially First Light was absolutely brilliant. I mean, the last one, Exodus, was also fantastic. Although I wasn't too big of a fan of them going like open world-ish, you know?
Yeah.
Or it wasn't really open world, but
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Open areas, semi-open world. Nevertheless, it was a fantastic game, a beautiful game. I finished that twice because it was one of the first games that got the Xbox Series X enhancement patches.
Yeah.
And the first game that ran then with full ray tracing on the Series consoles, and that's when I did a second playthrough. I love Metro Man. It's been 7 years since Exodus came out. It's been a while. Definitely has been a while. So I was super excited to see that, and they did not disappoint for me. They are going back to a more, darker vibe. New main character, obviously. It's the new protagonist is only called the Stranger, no name so far, who's haunted by violent nightmares, and these nightmares drive him to go back into the metro to face his past. It plays in Moscow directly, where a new faction is in charge now, like a fascist regime, under a new Führer, and they've shown that the gameplay is highlighting different options like tactical combat and weapon maintenance and exploration of handcrafted different settlements, and very detailed scenery. They highlighted that every setting is telling a unique story through the details in the environments. And very surprising to see, man, they are still running their custom engine. The 4A engine looks beautiful. I mean, obviously they didn't say, but presumably that ran on a very high-end PC, the gameplay they've shown. Their proprietary customized engine, with very advanced ray tracing techniques and path tracing, and they will launch it this winter. So it's not. I was surprised about that. I was expecting something coming soon or coming in 2027 or something like that. But it's apparently coming this winter. More details are coming soon. I would imagine, since they've obviously partnered with Xbox. Right? It's the June showcase where we will see more of it. But yeah, man, what are your thoughts, dude, after seeing this?
I mean, first of all, I can't believe it's been already 7 years since Exodus. How?
Dude, time flies. I mean, the Series X is turning 6 years old now, and it feels like yesterday that we picked that baby up, right?
How was I 31 when it released?
Sometimes I forget how young you are.
I hate getting old.
Yeah, it was 36.
So yeah, no, it is good to see it come back, but again, it feels like yesterday that Exodus released. Um, it really does.
Yeah,
It's really strange to say that, but it does feel like yesterday that it released. So, um, no, it's I'm liking the fact that they're doing this kind of more psychological, dark vibe to it again, and trying to face his
yeah,
fears and his past. Um, no, it's going to be interesting. To be fair, all of the Metro games have been really good,
yeah.
especially the first couple. When it first introduced the series and you're going
Absolutely.
through the tunnels for the first time and things like that, it was really really interesting. And of course, it was kind of a born of Stalker, so they kind of both had this same kind of mentality, and then Stalker went in a little bit of a different direction.
Yeah.
But both fantastic games. So no, it's obviously great to see Metro continue on in its legacy and go from there. And of course, that is coupled with the fact that we're getting additional updates all the time for Stalker. So if you're a fan of this kind of genre and these kind of post-apocalyptic, semi-realistic worlds, um, then you're eating well with these two games.
Absolutely. Although I feel like Stalker and Metro definitely are different. While
They are
Stalker
now,
is
yeah.
way more challenging and
Yeah.
way more depending on survival and everything. Metro is way more linear, way more.
Yeah.
Well, you do have to manage some of your resources, especially your bullets. You have to be careful
Yes.
firing a shot. But it's more like it has more horror elements, denser atmosphere. While Stalker is aiming more for these open world feelings.
Yeah.
But I do get where you're coming from. Very similar setting. Both games coming from the Ukraine, and that's also something they touched on in the Xbox First yesterday. The challenges surrounding the still awful war. 4 years ago, Russia invaded the Ukraine, right? And this war is still ongoing, and with all the challenges that surround that, they were still able to develop that game. They've shown like they have their development offices like in a bunker and something.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. So I cannot wait. So winter, dude, it's coming this winter. When do you expect this to hit?
Well, they're going to be wanting to avoid GTA like everybody is, so probably December.
You know what I've been thinking? Maybe that's why they use the phrase, because it's very uncommon to use coming this winter. I mean, and the winter is technically still going on early next year.
Yeah.
And I could see them bringing that game out end of January or February, which is you can still consider winter,
Possibly, but then again, you missed the whole Christmas rush.
Yes, you do. But that's the question. If a game like Metro can actually benefit from that Christmas rush with all the other...
To be fair, I think every game can benefit from a Christmas rush.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love... I think a December release absolutely could go well for them. Be the last game in the year and be the game that everyone's going to want to play over Christmas. GTA has been out then by a month or so the first initial hype has died off. I mean, that could work.
Yeah,
man. So I expect to see more during the June showcase of the game, because they've shown a cinematic trailer that sets the tone. Very dark, very brutal, gory, and they've shown only like 2 minutes or so of gameplay. and I fully expect to see more during the June showcase. There's going to be Play Anywhere, by the way.
Yep, that's good.
Very good. Love to see that. Definitely a day one buy for me. Like all the other Metros, I love those games, man. So, yeah. Anything you want to add to Metro?
No, I think it's short and sweet. It's welcomed, and again, no doubt from a visual perspective, it'll be as pretty as Metro was when that first launched. So, should be good.
Absolutely, man. You know what else got leaked this week? The long rumored Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake, reimagined, or what is it called?
I think it might be reimagined, to be fair.
Resynced.
Oh.
Assassin's Creed Black Flag resynced. There was apparently going to be the reveal this week, but it has been moved to next week. And content creators have received roughly a 30-minute presentation of the game. And it's going to come out on July 9th. That was leaked by Insider Gaming. The full reveal is coming next week. Let's see. We have heard so many times it's coming. But apparently this time it's really coming. The presentations are already out. They're still under embargo. But a couple of things leaked. I've also seen like snippets of gameplay from that, and it really looks, from the little and very hardly compressed videos that I've seen, looks phenomenal. They've added, it's not just a remake, they've added a little bit of content as well, and changed some of the mechanics, but apparently Ubisoft reaffirms everyone that it's not Assassin's Creed Black Flag goes open world. It's still the original formula, which was not the open world action RPGs that all the Assassin's Creed went for after Origins, right? With Origins and Odyssey and Valhalla and Shadows and so on, they've all went open world, and they still keep the formula that way, but they've changed quite a bit of the gameplay mechanics and added new content to it, so that it still feels fresh and new for fans. Would you be interested in that, man? In a Black Flag remake?
I mean, it's been a long time since I played Black Flag, so yeah, I'd be up for Black Flag remake.
It was one of the first games I've played on the Xbox One, right?
Was it one, or was it not originally released on 360?
Both. It was like launched.
I think I played it on 360.
It launched on both. If I remember correctly, need to do a quick Google search here. AC Black Flag release. I think it came out a month or so. It came out 29th of October 2013. So about a week before the Xbox One came out. I then played it on the Xbox One though. I remember that. So it was really one of the first games that I've played on the... No... When did the Xbox One launch? 2013, right? Yeah. So one of the first games I've played on the Xbox One. It's been a while, man. It's been a while. I actually would be interested in it to play it again. It was one of the best from the linear or not action open world Assassin's Creed Black Flags, and I think July is great. Not too many other games coming out around that date. The setting fits the summer mood in July,
Yeah.
Let's see. it's also to me interesting because Ubisoft usually gets a lot of shit, and people love to hate on Ubisoft. But I was thinking, Ubisoft isn't really doing that many of the remasters and remakes.
No, they're not.
They're not.
No, they usually focus on new titles. I think the only thing that they could be accused of is just milking franchises until they're dead.
Yeah. No, because people love to hate on Ubisoft, but usually Ubisoft does not do remasters, remakes. Everyone's doing them. I'm missing some.
I think the only one that they tried to remaster and then they canned was the Prince of Persia remaster.
Was a Prince? Yeah, but they canned that.
That's what I'm saying. Then they canned it. Yeah,
they canned it, and from the top of my head, I cannot think of one Ubisoft remake or remaster, and that's not. And on the other hand, where others do sell you the remasters and not even remakes, the remasters that are usually just like a little patch to get the resolution up. Ubisoft has been really great in supporting their games because almost all of their bigger titles got free updates for Xbox Series X to enhance resolution, to run at 60 FPS. They've been really great at supporting their games with these free patches and free updates instead of doing remasters. And so for all the hate that Ubisoft usually gets, I just wanted to point that out here and break. How do you say break a lance? In Germany we say break a lance, but I don't know if that's a phrase. If you stand up for someone, Anyway, Ubisoft, it's the first remake I can think of. Tim the Sorcerer also says they just update 60 FPS things for free, unlike actually almost every other publisher.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's great, man. So let's see. Black Flag Resync coming, or the reveal coming next week, and then it releases on July 9th. And you know what other game got like a life sign this week? Resonance, A Plague Tale Legacy. And
yes.
I totally forgot about that. They reconfirmed that they are still coming this year, later this year. Still coming to Game Pass day one. They've posted a couple of new screenshots and a couple of new tidbits about the story. And I was like, dude, I totally forgot about that. That was revealed during one of the smaller shows of Xbox last year. And I'm a fan of the Plague Tale series. I love both of those games. Great linear story-driven action adventures, right? And I'm actually looking forward to that. But I totally forgot that this is coming this year, and it's great to see. Still coming this year.
Oh yeah. Again, the Plague Tale games both look fantastic and have great stories, so we'll all look forward to that.
And both of them use a proprietary engine, which is still crazy to think about, that Asobo, which is not like a massive studio, right, can develop such a good looking and good running engine on their own. And I feel like, dude, maybe we see a little trend here, because for a long time now we have had almost every game running either in Unreal or one of the very old sophisticated engines like the Frostbite engine or something, or the Call of Duty engine, But other than that, it has been so common to to just use. Why did the gameplay stop? Sorry, I'm a little distracted here.
Mm-hmm.
That is weird.
Yeah, it's been common to use Unreal or one of those.
And now we've seen a couple of the bigger titles going back to their proprietary engines, right? Crimson Desert here, the proprietary engine. Metro 4A games running on their proprietary engine, right? Plague Tale, proprietary engine. Love that. We need more diversity in engines, dude.
I agree. To be fair, we had diversity until Halo switched to Unreal, and then Witcher switched to Unreal, and
yeah.
A lot of the big ones went to Unreal.
With CD Projekt Red, I still can't believe that they are actually really going for Unreal. Because the Red engine, dude, amazing engine, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Cyberpunk is what now? Almost 6 years old? And look at that game. Still, it is still one of the most beautiful games in this gen, right?
Yeah.
If you run it on PC with all the updates now, it's insane.
Full path tracing, everything.
Full path tracing. It's insane how that looks, right? And I can't believe that they gave that up. I mean, I do understand the business idea behind it, right? It's much easier to hire talent because, well, Unreal is such a big industry standard, right? It is much easier to hire new talent and then get them started in Unreal rather than your own proprietary stuff. It also makes... I mean, if we look at modern rendering techniques and modern graphic techniques, it's getting more and more challenging to keep up to date.
Yeah.
Right. And more expensive to run these engines and develop these engines. And it makes you a lot more flexible in terms of staffing because you don't have to have the dedicated coders for the engine and the engine developers and so on. Nevertheless, I do not want the entire industry to just run on Unreal, right? I don't know if that will eventually fall back on Microsoft's feet, that they've basically switched all their studios now to Unreal. I mean, I get the benefit. You can, and we'll get to that a little later when we talk about the Matt Booty interview. You know how they share tech and so on in between the studios. But they do have their own actually great proprietary engines, right? Like the It engine and even the Creation engine is great.
Yeah.
And what's the engine that Diablo is running on? I'm blanking on the name. You know, they have these great engines, but somehow they've decided to make Unreal the standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. So great for Asobo and a Plague Tale. Cannot wait. Man, cannot wait. Let us talk about Starfield real quick. The new DLC is out, Terra Namada, right? Installed and ready now. Now that I've finished Crimson Desert, I'm finally ready to return to Starfield. Cannot wait. It also launched now on the PS5. Had a lot of crashes, apparently. A lot of bugs in there. Xbox has addressed, or Bethesda has addressed it. There's a patch coming. Some of it are some of the most common issues are already fixed now. The hot patch is out. Nevertheless, not the best look to launch that game now on PlayStation, and
it wouldn't be Bethesda if there wasn't issues.
Yeah, but it's different. You know, the bugs that we are used from Bethesda games is something different than your entire game simply crashing to the dashboard, right?
Yeah. Blame PlayStation.
Yeah. Sony's fault.
Yeah.
No, and Starfield apparently is coming to the Nintendo Switch. The Switch 2 version has been rated, but in different countries. It received an H rating, so it's all but confirmed. It's coming. That it's also coming to the Switch too. Which, I mean, kind of makes sense. If you're going multi-platform, then don't leave the Switch 2 out. Huge install base, right?
Yeah, and it's capable. It's pretty much, I would say, I'm almost on par with the S. So
it's capable for those old games.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah.
It's got Requiem on it already.
Yeah, I know.
At launch.
I mean,
it looks great as well. Plays well.
The Switch 2 is capable now, but that will change
The
in
good thing about the
2
Switch
years.
2 is that, I was going to say, the good thing about the Switch 2 is that don't expect your games to run at 60 frames per second. Games look much better on Switch 2 now, but a lot of the big games are just locked 30. But,
Yeah.
Like, it's a handheld platform. I don't care.
Yeah. I get that. Until the point that you have experienced true greatness in handheld gaming, which is the ROG Xbox LEX, where you run your games at 100 frames at some point, right? Or what I usually go, I turn up the visual settings so high that the games run at around 50 FPS, and with the VRR screen that it has, it feels perfect. Crimson Desert, dude, at 50 FPS on a handheld, a game that is this beautiful and looks that massive, and it feels fantastic due to the smooth frame rates on a handheld. Yeah, the Switch can't keep up with that, dude. Anyway, Dutch, what I wanted to talk to you about is something interesting with that PlayStation launch of Starfield. They've also announced, I don't know if that was an official announcement, but the sales numbers of some of these Xbox titles that went over to PlayStation came out, and Starfield so far only sold around about 140,000 units, which really isn't that high of a number. Then even games like Ninja Gaiden 4 sold 257,000 copies, also not that much. And a couple of other games have we got the sales numbers. The only one that sold significant numbers is Forza Horizon 5 at 5.7 million units sold on PlayStation, right? But a lot of others, TOW2 or only sold 160,000. MFS sold 245,000. The flight simulator, Starfield 140,000. I mean, that number will probably go up a little bit, but eventually it will be somewhere in the ballpark of 250,000 tops, and I find that quite interesting because the discussion, especially now after Asha Sharma took over, right, on Xbox side, is it worth it? And when I look at these numbers, that even a very high-profile game like Starfield, right, only sells you like 140,000 units. I wanted to discuss with you: is that worth it? No. Risk losing your identity of exclusives, your unique selling point for your ecosystem. Is that worth it? Because I'm a little surprised. I knew that Forza Horizon sold really well.
I expected it to. Yeah. It is one of, if not the best, arcade racing games there is.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. Yeah, and I mean, even on Xbox, it found like, I want to say about 40 million
Yeah, significant.
40 million
It was
players.
easy to track as well because the leaderboard it's the leaderboard. You only get
Yeah,
onto
yeah,
the leaderboard once you pass a certain point.
So I mean, Forza Horizon 5 is another league, right? There. So yeah, okay, that this game might sell pretty okay on the PlayStation, given, but all the others, right, didn't. And I mean, if you think about selling Starfield at 140,000 units at a price point of $70, yeah, that's a little bit more than 10 million in revenue that you generated.
Yeah.
Remove the development cost for bringing that game over, remove a little bit of marketing, and I'm not sure if that is truly a significant business case. So, Dutch, what are your thoughts here? Is that worth it?
No. I think the issue is as well is if it was, I think partly to blame if they were going to go multi-platform is everything has to be released on the same day, so that marketing is a blanket statement. But the issue with Xbox's releases is they've not been same day. They've always been a bit different. Say coming out on Xbox and then later did on PlayStation. By the time everyone's played it on Xbox, seen the reviews, seen people playing it,
yeah,
they're not really bothered about when it's releasing. The only one that had a little bit of a kick was because Forza Horizon has got such a good standing in the community, and everyone's seen people play it, and they're like, I can't wait to play that game when it comes to PlayStation. That's one game I definitely will play. But the rest of them, like as much as Indiana Jones was good, are you going to wait a year to play it on another console? Starfield, likewise. Yes, it's a Bethesda game and people enjoy Bethesda games, but are you going to wait almost 2 years to play it again on another?
3 years.
3 years? Dear God. Then no, you're not. And this is exactly the same argument you can have for PlayStation releasing games on PC. And them wondering why the PC sales aren't where they should be. It's because you're releasing it at a different cadence. If it was released day one on every platform, you probably will see a little bit better results. However, you're not. And they're not ready. And even Forza Horizon 6 isn't going to be releasing day and date on both platforms.
Yeah.
So, I don't think they'll get to that stage because, again, that requires a significant investment of time and then potentially delaying the game in general to make sure both versions are ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I get that mindset, the hype train. When a game comes out, everyone plays it, talks about it on social media channels, the free marketing, everyone talking about it. And once a game is out for a couple of months, nobody's playing it anymore, and nobody talks about it anymore, and you have these silent launches then. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. By the time, and because it's already released on Xbox, by the time it comes to PlayStation, everybody's seen the reviews, they've seen people playing it, so they're just like, it's Starfield. Yes, it's only just coming out now on PlayStation, but it's technically been out for years, and I don't want to play an old game. Is the kind of mindset that they go through.
Yeah.
I might not have played it yet, but it's an old game. I don't want to play an old game. I want to play a new game, and there's a brand new game out now on PlayStation, so I'll play that.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to play the stuff that everyone talks about. Yeah, I want to play the Crimson Deserts and the Resident Evil Requiems that all my friends are playing at the moment, and I want to be part of the conversation. And that's definitely probably a big factor there. I agree. I mean, let's see, maybe that changes with Halo, which is coming apparently day and date, right? And Fable apparently coming day and date to PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
It could definitely help them. Nevertheless, I feel like these are really low numbers. I mean, for a game like Starfield, which is a massive AAA game, the biggest Bethesda game to date. But I do get your argument. Yeah, even if you do not have an Xbox, you probably have a PC. that plays that game, and you probably have played it then just on PC, because that's always an option for you in the Xbox ecosystem, right? And so, yeah, I was sitting there seeing these numbers, and I immediately thought, dude, is it really worth it for Xbox to chase these little numbers and sacrifice not just the goodwill of your diehard community, but your unique selling point for your console, for your ecosystem? And before people come at me again, it's not about console sales. We've talked about that multiple times here. It is bullshit. This, of course, it is about console sales, because with the console you sell the store, and that is what generates you money. And if you're not interested in selling consoles, you wouldn't bother to do one. Of course, it is about console sales. Like with every product that any company in this world is manufacturing and producing and developing and supporting, they want to sell their system, right? And they've sacrificed a big unique selling point for them, the exclusives, for 150 to 200,000, 250,000 units for some of your biggest games. Taking Forza Horizon now out of the equation, right? Is that really worth it? I mean, it's no secret what our opinion here is. You and I both have been from the very beginning. That's not a good idea. You need to have a unique selling point. And for a very, very long time, Xbox didn't have the system sellers, the games, that drive your sales, and as soon as they got into that cadence after buying the studios back in 2018 and 19, 5 years later, 6 years later, they started to have the games ready and release games, quality games, in a regular cadence back in 24, right? And then they stopped using them as a selling point. They've never even tried to sell their console via their portfolio truly, to that point. And for those little numbers, so that I mean, it's a big debate in the community for a couple of weeks now after Asher took over and, had all these statements about the plan is the plan until it's not the plan, and stuff like that. So, do you think that there's a chance that Xbox is going back now, having these low sales numbers, new leadership, new mindset? I mean, we get to Bad Booty in a second, but obviously there is a shift in the mindset of the Xbox leadership, the way how they've treated console over the last couple of weeks. In the first time in like 3-4 years, we've been getting meaningful updates for consoles. They revamped the achievement system, which was one of the things that many wished for, and given it's smaller things, it's not like massive big updates, but they're obviously working on it, and they've obviously listened or starting to listen to the community again. And it's only been a few weeks since Asher took over, so there's up until this point in time, there's only so much she could do. But there's obviously a different mindset going on there, and a change going on at the Xbox organization. So do you see the possibility here to come for exclusives to come back, seeing these low sales numbers and everything?
Absolutely. I mean, real leadership, including at the top, will look at statistics and see, okay, this isn't working and we need to change. And that includes the change of direction that they thought would be the best case scenario for them. Okay, let's put everything everywhere. We're bound to make more money. But then looking at the figures and you're thinking, it's not really made much more money. And even if it did, it's come at a detriment to hardware sales, which have fell off a cliff. So the money that we were making on hardware, we've only marginally recouped in software. So now we're kind of not really gaining any ground.
Yeah.
In fact, if anything, they've lost ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
So real leadership will look at that and say, listen, it isn't working. And maybe we, instead of going full, everything goes everywhere, we only have a select few titles which we know for a fact will do good numbers on other platforms, such as Forza Horizon.
I've seen that discussion online, and I know where this is coming from, but I feel like this would be the worst thing you can do, because for a good decade now, a lot of the problems from Xbox originated in unclear messaging and intransparency. Yeah, they started this whole exclusive thing with it's only these 3 games, right? And then it was a case by case thing, and now it's like almost everything, but not really. And some days, some games come day and date, and some games launch a few months later. Like with Forza, not day and date, but Fable is day and date, and Gears, we haven't discussed if Gears actually comes over at all, and it's all this intransparent messaging. And I mean, the only game they can get away with that is probably Call of Duty, but everything else, either make it day and date exclusive, day and date multi-platform for everything, or stop it at all. Do not do this case by case thing, because that's the worst messaging you can have. Then it takes away the unique selling point of your console. It will take away that unique selling, because with every game you will have the discussion, yeah, but it's probably going to come out on PlayStation 6 months later, right? And if it's not, people do not care. And it's I don't think that's a strategy. If you do it, you are all in. And with exclusives, I mean obviously console exclusives. They will never stop releasing their games on PC day and date. And I think that's also obvious, because the next game and the next console is going to be a PC.
Hybrid.
Of course a hybrid with a console-like experience, but it's running Windows, right? So the games you buy are the PC version anyway. So that's off the table, that discussion. But bring it to Switch, bring it to PlayStation. Sorry, but I interrupted you there.
No, it's all right. Like I say, I mean, but when they look at the figures, they'll be thinking, okay, we know Forza's fine, but every other title we've brought over from a story perspective is not. So why don't we just keep the story games fully exclusive going forward? Things like your Call of Duty, maybe Forza Horizon will continue to do that, because they will do fine. But the rest of the games, because again, from their perspective as well, from a business perspective, Forza Horizon sold 5.7 million copies. Yeah. And that is nothing to be sniffed at. So if they know, okay, obviously if we can get 5.7 million or 6 million copies of Forza every time we release a Horizon on PlayStation, then it would be silly to not do that. But when they look at the other titles, like your Starfields and your Indiana Jones and your Ninja Gaidens and things like that, and they're doing sub 200,000 copies, you think, okay, they're clearly not worth it. So these big exclusive IP single-player games, we're just going to keep where we are. Just keep us exclusive. And I think, as much as Playground Games for us and Forza has been fantastic, I can see Fable also not doing big numbers.
I mean, we don't know, because again, the first argument you made was they never came out. Starfield, for instance, now is an old game, right?
Yeah.
With Fable, they at least have the advantage of having the full marketing campaign behind it and the full, zeitgeist when everyone's playing it and talking about it, how awesome it is, how awesome it looks, and everything. You have that behind that. Maybe that helps. Maybe that changes the things. Maybe some of the games were just not. Can I say? How can you say that? Like big enough. Games like Outer Worlds or Your Avowed, and now a couple of weeks ago, South of Midnight, and those were also not the big shiny games. I'm not hating on the games. I love South of Midnight and Avowed, but they don't have this AAA shine to it, right? I still feel like that it would not be a good idea to do it on a case by case, assuming like Forza and Halo, they could sell well on that and release those, but then we do not release our Clockwork Revolution on there and our State of Decay on there. I feel like that would be the worst thing they can do, because that is an awful messaging. A case by case that wouldn't help you, because you would have the discussion with every game, and it still would not be a unique selling point for your ecosystem. So either you believe in the power of exclusives as a selling point for your ecosystem, your storefront, or don't. But don't do the case by case thing. Call of Duty, okay, that's different. That's the one exception you can make from the rule, but everything else, either make it fully multi-platform or fully exclusive. Of course, I personally would definitely be in the camp go exclusive, because, like we've said many times before, it helps competition. I want a stronger Xbox ecosystem, console ecosystem. It helps keeping consoles alive. It helps us to have competition in the field. So even as a PlayStation gamer, I would root for exclusives on Xbox, because that helps you for Sony to do better by you as a customer, right? And we've seen it this gen. Sony really wasn't as consumer friendly as they've been in the previous generation, right? They didn't have that many games, let alone new IP. They were the first to raise game price. They were the first to raise console prices. They were the first to really have a bare, dry roadmap by canceling tons of studios. And as much as people hate on Xbox for shutting down studios, Sony has shut down even more, right? And and it's not it wasn't so far a good generation for the customer of PlayStations, right? Not talking about the blind fanboys. And if the Xbox console would be stronger in the market, Sony would behave differently, and that's why competition is so key, and that's why I'm definitely pro exclusive, because I want the competition in the field. And the question now is Xbox seeing it similar, seeing these low numbers of their games on the ecosystem? I don't think we will see a change this year in that strategy.
No. It'll be next generation.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. That's what I wanted to say. I think for this year and the games that are
anything that's already forecast to go out on PlayStation will go out on PlayStation.
Exactly. They are not going to come out and say immediately, oh, by the way, we've changed our mind. Fable isn't coming to PlayStation, and we've changed our mind, and Forza Horizon isn't coming. Those games,
they'll use it as a sales tactic for the next gen. Yeah,
exactly. If the new leadership under Asher is looking at this and comes to the conclusion, hey, for these few numbers, it's not worth sacrificing this. They will make a big fuss about exclusives coming back, and you can play it on PC, and you can play it on the next Xbox, because that is a PC, but we are not doing the PlayStation versions anymore. And they will make a big fuss about that for next gen. I don't feel like this is, if it's coming, right? It's a this gen thing.
Yeah. 100%. But like I say, they'll make it a big thing, like they did when Big Philly Spencer took over Xbox for the first time, and obviously we'd had that whole launch of the Xbox One with TV, and then he came in.
Yeah.
He was like, right, we're starting off. First of all, we're going to reveal the backwards compatibility program, and this is this massive thing, and we're going to go back to this and do back to games. So
we removed the Kinect, and so on.
Yeah, and then just focus on that again, and that's, I think, kind of the same thing that they would do if that was the case, and they did go back to exclusivity. So say, okay, going forward, Call of Duty will be the only title that is going to remain on multi-platform, and the remainder will be exclusive to Xbox.
Yeah. Monsquisitor in the chat says, in this big Matt Booty interview, he said, he quotes him from that interview. He said, "We like it to bring Xbox games to more players on new platforms," which obviously isn't really promising. So, in that context, he was talking about the games for this year, and again, if there is a strange strategy, they have to think this really through, because the word is out now. Yeah, even if you change it.
But also, what I will say is that that's Matt Booty speaking now. Ultimately, Matt Booty is not the boss.
Agree.
He will be told what the direction will be, and that is both by Asher and above.
Yeah. See, this whole the above, I'm not sure. If I work in a big corporation myself, and I work with a lot of other big corporations together. These kind of decisions are not made from the CEO. Satya Nadella has way better things to do than to look into, do we make Halo an exclusive or not?
But again, a certain person within Xbox that has not really released a public statement about leaving Xbox was ultimately, by the sounds of things, to blame for a lot of the messaging internally going forwards. And it could be, you could have a kind of a prognosis there of potentially trying to impress hierarchy who didn't understand why exclusives were beneficial.
That is a different story then. What Satya and what's her name, that the CFO, the financial of Amy Hood, are giving the Xbox division is targets. You have to make this amount of return of investment. You have to meet certain financial goals. This is what you have to have this in this margin, right? Those are the things. They will be involved if an acquisition comes up like ABK, where they have to invest like $75 billion, right? But they are not at all included in this whole strategy about where do we release our games, how do we market them, and this is an Xbox ad. This is not their decisions. This comes from the Xbox department itself. This is not how corporations work. The CEO does not have the time to look into every business unit this much in detail and talk about, okay, can we bring this game over to PlayStation? Does it make sense? It is not up to the CEO of Microsoft. And so I think it is, if there is a change coming, it is up to Asher to give that strategy. And I'm with you on the Matt Booty thing, and I am also very careful with a couple of these statements, because Matt Booty has been there for a while. He's not the new guy. He is the only one that is left of the old higher up leadership, right? After Sarah Bond leaving, after Phil Spencer leaving, and so on. He's the only one with the old mindset. Let me put it this way, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, there's probably a reason why they kept him, because if you remember the whole ABK acquisition, there were a bunch of emails that got leaked from Matt Booty that put him really like in a spotlight where, okay, he's the guy, so why don't we basically force them out through our sheer amount of money that we have, and these like really hard competition statements. And maybe that's why they kept him, because he had a different mindset than Sarah or Phil in some of these things. But nonetheless, in the official Xbox podcast, his first and foremost and most important role is to market stuff. And he knows exactly that no matter, even if we are talking about this at the moment internally, it's not going to affect any of the games that come out this year. And so he has to advertise this as a good thing, right? So, yeah, I wouldn't put the statement from Matt as a definitive where we are going, we stick with the multi-platform strategy.
I wouldn't put any statement from Xbox as definitive.
I agree with that. Absolutely. All right, Dutch. Let's stay with the Xbox for a minute, and let's talk about Game Pass, because an internal memo from Asha was published this week, where she basically says, okay, the Game Pass has become too expensive for players. This is what she said. Game Pass is central to gaming value on Xbox. It's also clear that the current model isn't the final one. Short-term, Game Pass has become too expensive for players, so we need a better value equation. Long-term, we will evolve Game Pass into a more flexible system, which will take time to test and learn around.
Yeah.
So basically, she's addressing two things in this, right? First of all, too expensive. I think we can both and all agree on that. That with the last price hike of Game Pass, the value proposition that Game Pass offers is definitely decreased. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm completely honest, Dutch, they haven't changed the price for my Ultimate subscription yet, because if you have been subscribed to Game Pass for a while, they said, okay, you are not affected by this. But for everyone,
as long as you've got monthly automatic renewals.
Exactly. But for everyone who's stocked up on, prepaid months for Game Pass and then switches into the monthly routine, and everyone who comes in new, you will have to pay the 27 euros or 29 euros dollars. Don't even know what it's in your UK pound currency. 23. So I'm still paying my 13 euros, 13.99 a month, and I still feel that's a good value. If I would have to pay 27 euros a month, I would actually really be thinking hard about it. Because look at my last month. All I did is play Crimson Desert.
Yeah.
Didn't touch a single game from Game Pass. And the weeks before I played Resident Evil Requiem. Didn't touch a single game from Game Pass. And I have to think really hard if I have actually tried a Game Pass game this year. I know I've tried High on Life, played that for 2 hours and decided it's not for me. But other than that, from the top of my head, I can't think of a Game Pass game I have played this year.
This year?
Well, it's only April, right? But I've been busy with so many other games that are not in Game Pass. And that's a normal thing. And that's how it's always been, right? If there are good third-party games that are not in Game Pass, you're busy with those and you just let the subscription run. But if I would be paying 27 euros for it a month, I would really think about when to get Game Pass, and then I would get like when I don't know Fable comes out, I would get it for a month and then unsubscribe again. So I'm absolutely with Asher. They are too expensive. There's too much bullshit now in there that we don't need. Nobody asked for Fortnite. The crew coming in there. Nobody asked for Ubisoft Classics, which are really old Ubisoft games that you can get for like $1 at every sale. We didn't ask for these additional so-called benefits. That's not why people subscribe to Game Pass. And we've seen Sincere says in the chat, he asks, not even Replaced or Hades 2. Yeah, listen, dude, I haven't touched Replaced yet because I'm so busy with Crimson Desert, but I finished Crimson Desert earlier today, and I'll be definitely playing Replaced over the weekend. So it's probably going to be my first Game Pass game this year. Yeah. And Sincere also suggests in the chat they should partner up with comms, T-Mobile, AT&T, and so on, and bundle it in with Game Pass in with cell service like Netflix
they already
does.
Already do.
They do not do that here in Germany. Don't know about the UK, but listen, I feel that's exactly the wrong idea. Keep it minimal. Ask yourself, why are people subscribing to your service, and then only put that in and make it as cheap as possible. People subscribed, almost everyone I have talked to has subscribed to Game Pass mainly for the day and date releases.
Yeah.
Because as good as some of the games are that Xbox brought to Game Pass in the last couple of months, they put in Cyberpunk, fantastic game, but it's an old game. It's like 5-6 years old. People that actually wanted to play that have already played it, right? This is a nice to have, but it's not the reason why you would subscribe to the service.
No.
People subscribe for the day and date stuff, right? Then they didn't subscribe because they want to have Fortnite the crew in there, and they didn't subscribe because they want Ubisoft classic games in there, and they do not subscribe because they want the cloud service. Maybe some did because it's the only way to get access to the cloud, but with all the handhelds going on and so on, don't think that this is a reason to subscribe. It's a nice to have if you're subscribed. But if you would be able to remove all that bullshit that nobody asked for, nobody wants, and then offer the subscription for half your price, it would bring in way more customers than adding other stuff, adding the Netflix subscription. If someone wants to subscribe to Netflix, they do it anyway, right? But don't force Game Pass subscribers to get shit and pay for shit that they do not use and want. And I feel like this is exactly what Asher addressed here. I don't know. I've been rambling on for a while now. Dutch, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we covered this a few weeks back before every news publisher decided to go with exactly what I suggested.
Yeah.
But
True that.
Which was just simplify it again. Just you've already got 3 brackets, keep it as 3 brackets, but instead of the premium one being like almost next to nothing, everything comes later, just remodel that medium bracket into an Xbox first party only version.
Yeah.
Have for those who want all of the side stuff as well, including Call of Duty, etc., keep that as Ultimate, but remodel the middle package as Xbox first party only titles.
Yeah.
And have them day and date. So the middle one still gets you day and date, but it's only Xbox first party. Ultimate gets you Ubisoft and EA Sports and all of that malark built in if you really want the Ultimate version. And then you have the small package, which has got next to nothing, but you get a little drib and drab of both versions. but way after launch. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Keep it nice. It doesn't need to be overly complicated. Keep it short and sweet. You've got the bells and whistles with Ultimate. You've got Xbox only first party. Game Pass is the middle one, which you don't get access to third party stuff.
Yeah.
And then you've got the bare bones version at the bottom, which is only if you want to play online.
Yeah.
And you don't mind getting the occasional game that you can play that you haven't played before.
Yeah, agree. And looking at the statement from Asha, I mean, that's exactly what she basically suggested, right? Short-term, Game Pass has become too expensive for players, so we need a better value equation. So now the second thing is, which is interesting, long-term, we will evolve Game Pass into a more flexible system, which will take time to test and learn. What do you think she means with that?
I don't know, because again, making it too flexible could make it too complicated.
If done right. If done wrong, yes. If done right,
yeah.
You know what came to my mind?
The only thing I can think of is making it a little bit more flexible is instead of, for instance, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Maybe saying, okay, well, you can buy a month of Game Pass, but if you buy a singular month of Game Pass, it's a little bit more expensive. However, if you buy it on, if you've got a rolling direct debit agreement and it's monthly cost, then it's a little bit, obviously, a bit cheaper for you. So it's kind of enticing people to have a fixed-in agreement.
See, I thought of something entirely different. But you could be right, though. Yeah, but the first thing that came to my mind is, what if they do it like this? You have like the base version only. No different tiers per se. You have a base version of Game Pass for, I don't know, $5.
Yeah.
It gives you access to online, the cloud, and 10 games, random weird ass games. So that's the base version. And now you book on top of that exactly what you want. You have like 10 different options that you can book additionally. You can book EA Play to that. And if you check that, it's $2 extra a month. You can check Call of Duty in there, $5 extra a month. You can check the box for first party support, another $5 or $10 in there.
Yeah, and then be able to reduce it or add to it and when.
Yeah, and this way everyone can customize or be flexible with what they want out of Game Pass. You have one base tier, and then you add these check boxes that will cost you $2, $5, whatever. Yeah, and you can add then, if you are interested in Fortnite Crew, check that. Yeah, and it's like $2 cheaper than if you directly buy it from Epic. And you can add a Netflix subscription. Yeah, and it's $2 cheaper than if you directly only do the Netflix thing. And do something like that. Sincere says a la carte. Exactly. And so everyone could customize Game Pass in a way how they want to use it.
Yeah.
Right? I would love that. I don't know if she meant that by flexible, but that would be something I'd be absolutely interested in. I mean, it will also long term, since she's obviously talking long term, it will be interesting to see what they do with it next gen. Because if the next gen runs on Windows and with Windows space, they can hardly charge you for online play. So they have to get rid of that anyway. Right? They have to. If your console runs Windows, on Windows you cannot charge for online play. People would never ever buy a single game in your store. It would all go to Steam, where it's free. And granted, on Xbox PC app, you do not pay for multiplayer, right? And online play, obviously. So for next gen, they have to get rid of the paid online stuff anyway. And with that, they obviously kind of have to redesign the whole Game Pass tiers now anyways. So I don't know.
I mean, it's a good idea. It's a good idea.
I would love that, man. Mate, truly.
Yeah, even though they might be listening to it, I seem to have listened to our previous podcasts and taken on my board some of my suggestions. So
with first party only, yeah, make that an option there as well. Checkbox for
yeah,
$10
so we've
extra.
got first party only tick. How about just go a la carte menu, so you start basing that onto it, whatever you want. Yeah, let's do that as well. Why not?
Exactly. Yeah, well, let's see.
Should we just get a consultative a contract with Xbox and just tell them what they need to do?
Sometimes I wonder why they are not doing that anyway. Just hire us as
reach out. Just reach out. Just send us temporary part-time contract. I'll just consult. That's fine,
dude. We would make that into the best ecosystem ever. Yeah. Hardware as well as platform.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Let's stick with the Xbox for a minute. And we have had a big Matt Booty interview this week. He was on the official Xbox podcast talking all things Xbox Game Studios. Nothing really super new came out, but a couple of interesting tidbits. He was asked what's the game he's really excited, and he gave the obvious neutral answer. Yeah, I can't pick a favorite child and so on. But then he talked briefly about Clockwork Revolution, because that was the last update he has seen of one of the studios. And he said this: we got to see the latest updates on Clockwork Revolution, which is just really coming along. I think it's a bit of a cliche to say they punch over their weight, but this is a team of 100 people, and it looks like a lot more than that. It really is coming along well. So that's Clockwork Revolution. I think, dude, we will see that in the June showcase, and it will be a spring 27 game.
Yeah.
Which
is a shame, because I thought it was one of them games that we're seeing years back, and we're like, God, that's the most, out of all of them, that looks like it's the most complete, and it turns out it was not.
yeah, true. When they first shown it, I want to say 2 years ago, was it 24? Or was it even 23? Possibly. It definitely looked already pretty far along. And I was thinking, okay, because we all agree that probably the next gen is going to launch November next year, right?
Yeah.
Could it be a launch title? I do have the feeling that it's not, and that this is going to be their big spring game next year. We've heard so many things already now, how far it is and how good it is and everything. And I mean, it does look good. It does look good. Definitely stands out. We had a couple of other interesting things. He also talked about the Xbox Studio collaborations and how great these studios now work together, and that it took a while to get the studios up and running. So he shared a couple of interesting insights there. The coalition helped in Exile to work on Clockwork Revolution using the Unreal Engine 5, which is obviously makes sense. I mean, with the coalition, they do have the masters of Unreal Engine. Also interesting is that Blizzard Entertainment provided cinematic support for Fable.
Yeah.
Which is super interesting, because one thing is for sure, Blizzard does do great cinematics.
Oh yeah, God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely on Diablo 4.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, in all their games, even in Overwatch and World of Warcraft and so on, the cinematics are top notch at Blizzard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Compulsion Games is using the Activision mocap studio, which is interesting, right? Rare is sharing multiplayer experience and expertise from Sea of Thieves to help Double Fine on Kiln.
Okay.
Also, kind of makes sense, right? Double Fine not really having that much expertise in online games. Obsidian Entertainment took a sophisticated, persistent, world-safe technology from Undead Labs from State of Decay 2. They enhanced and used it for Grounded, and this improved technology has now been sent back to Undead Labs to help them with State of Decay 3. Also quite interesting.
We've had your save state technology and we've bettered it. So have it back.
King
I think
and
an
Mojang.
underhand compliment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good system, but we've made it better.
Yeah. King and Mojang collaborated on Minecraft Blast. Didn't even know that that's a thing, right? But the Minecraft Blast. Interesting is that the Minecraft's in-game store tag was adapted for Flight Simulator.
Yeah, explains why they're both terrible.
And then apparently that technology made it later into Starfield, which I can't recall that Starfield has an in-game purchasing system.
It's because it's for the mods.
The mods. That could be. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And a lot of teams now not only share tech, but also share narrative tools, best practices, and other development approaches. So it's definitely sounded that they are finally at this point where what they've been talking about for, I want to say, at least 6-7 years now, that when they started this whole acquisition spree of studios back in 2018, right? They've always said, and then we can collaborate. But it looks like now that's really actually going on, which was quite of interesting to see. And then Dutch, he also briefly talked about Project Helix and highlighted that the unique thing about Microsoft or Xbox as a publisher is that they are also a hardware manufacturer, and that now more than ever the hardware team is in close contact to most of the big studios, right, to get the latest input in what is going on in rendering, will the rendering and graphic pipelines look like in the future to really like optimize the hardware for it. I mean, it's a similar talk we have heard in the past, right?
Yeah. They always say the hand in hand and the talking to and the working with, and Phil Spencer's touched on it before. So I kind of take these we're working collaboratively internally and stuff with a pinch of salt, because we might do, and they might have spoken to developers, etc., but it didn't. I mean, they spoke to developers with Xbox Series X, and that didn't work out too well.
Yeah. So. And I was also like, let's put it a little bit in context. It's not like Nvidia isn't talking to developers, right?
Yeah.
When they design a new graphics chipset, right, or in a new graphics architecture. Obviously, they are talking to that. AMD is doing that. Sony's doing the same thing. Nonetheless, it's a cool thing, and it really pumps me up for the next project gen console, because I want that thing rather sooner than later. I'm looking forward to that future of the Project Helix, with it being a unified ecosystem, right, with the PC ecosystem, and finally being there truly seamless in between PC with the handhelds and everything, and the console. I like that idea. I also feel like as good as Crimson Desert looks, and you can see the gameplay running here on screen right now, right? You can tell that we are now playing on 6-year-old console hardware, right?
Yeah.
It's time for an update, so I'm excited for that. Speaking of which, a lot of times we have already talked about specs for the next gen consoles, PlayStation as well as the next gen Xbox, because a lot of stuff has already been leaked. Some of it has officially been announced, and so on. And whenever we talk about these hardware specs and what the next gen consoles would or should support in terms of how much RAM do they need, what kind of graphic chipset do they need, what kind of NPU do they need, what CPU do they need, as much as I love that talk, right? The interesting thing is, you always have to put it into perspective on what is the market currently offering. We have had this discussion, right? What could be the potential price of the next gen Xbox and the next gen PlayStation 6? And we both expect them to be way significantly higher than what we are used to in the 5 to, well, now more than 600 euro range. And probably next gen consoles going to $1,000 or above. And we've talked about all of that.
Yeah.
And then everyone comes always out and says, yeah, then I could just get a PC, right? And I'm like, okay, good luck. Try building your PC for $1,000 right now. That's
of equivalent power.
Of equivalent power, exactly. And that always brings up the question, what do we actually need in terms of hardware? And the interesting thing here is, Dutch, probably the best comparison you can get is when you look at the Steam analysis. And the latest Steam analysis was released now. It included everything from October 24 till March 26.
Yep.
Yeah. They have put out the metrics on what are people playing on Steam, PC, because PC gaming is Steam, right? Let's not kid ourselves. No one's playing on Epic or anything else. And it is super, super interesting to see how few people actually do have these PCs that could potentially rival with an Xbox Helix and PlayStation 6.
Like probably about less than 10-15% max.
You're surprised. I mean, we're going through the numbers. Honestly, most of all PCs out there do not even rival the Xbox Series or PlayStation 5.
Nope.
Some of them, not all, but some of them do not even rival the PlayStation 4.
Yep.
Honestly. And that's why I always look at this. So when I see that people argue, oh, if I need to pay $1,000 for my PC, yeah, let's try and see. Build your PC for $1,000 with an equivalent power. Good luck with that. Dutch, let's look at some numbers. I do not Google. Because I'm gonna ask you a question.
I could just open Steam; it would tell us as well, but I'm not going to.
Okay, these PC guys always like, hey, I do have 5090, and even if the next Xbox Helix is costing $1,000, let's just save that for an argument. $1,000 Project Helix, for the sake of argument. You could buy 2.5 Project Helix for the price of a 5090. How many PC gamers do use that?
0.5%.
Yeah, that's pretty good. 0.2%.
Okay, I wasn't too far off. Yeah, 0.2% have
so
a 5090.
if we include the 5080, which is probably the best price for value you can get right now, you get a very, very good, almost high-end graphics card, but way, way cheaper than a 5090. How many PC gamers are using that?
0.7.
1.27%.
Ooh, a bit more. Okay.
So now let's add up the previous generations, because probably not everyone is upgrading all the time, right?
Yeah.
Let us add all 4080s, 4090s, 3080s, and 3090s. Basically, the last 6 years in that segment.
Yeah. Of high end.
Of the high-end graphics cards. And let's include the AMD equivalents to that.
Okay.
How many?
I would say then, if that's going to be the case, maybe 15 to 17% combined.
9.4%.
Okay. I was being generous.
Yeah, so let's round it up. Only 10% of PC users have bought a good premium GPU over the last 7 years, I want to say now. It's almost 7 years now that the 30 series came out.
And as a 3070 user, I can tell you now, I am not getting anywhere close to the performance of a Series X or a PlayStation 5.
What's the single most used graphics card?
1080.
Nah, it's the 3060.
Really?
So the 3060 is with 3.9%.
Is 1080 not still one of the bigger ones?
The 1080, hang on, I have to check in the original source here, the 1080, where do we have the 1080? Give me a second. I have the 1080 Ti,
That'll do.
0.3% only.
Oh dear God.
Yeah. But the interesting thing is, back when they had the first GTX series, right?
So what on percentage wise, what is the most popular card on there then?
Yeah, it's the 3060, which is the lowest entry point. It's the cheapest graphics card in that series. Yeah. And if we add the 3060s, 7060s, 5060s, and 37s, and 47s, and so on. So the low to mid-tier market, even then we only come to round about 15%. So meaning, if we combine that with the high-end market, that 3/4 of all PC gamers play on a setup that is less than the Series X, Series S.
It would be more than 3/4. It would be more than 3/4. It would be...
No, if you have like around about 10% in the high-end market over the last 6 years.
Oh, right, okay.
And around about 15 in the low to mid-tier market.
Right. I thought you meant 15% total.
No. 25%, roundabout, have a modern graphics card. With that, I mean 7 years.
Okay.
Now, yeah.
So 3/4 aren't even on
Yeah. So
Xbox Series S level.
not, and even 20% are below the Xbox One and PS4
Yep.
power equivalent.
Yikes.
Roundabout. Yeah. Some people would now argue with me that a 1050 is not an equivalent or something like that. But that's ballpark numbers now, okay? But this is really interesting. What's the most commonly used amount of RAM people use?
8.
I was surprised by that. That's actually 16.
16?
To 16 gigs, but it does not. 40% of gamers use 16 gigabytes, but it does not distinguish what kind of RAM.
Whether it be DDR3, DDR4, DDR5,
5, whatever. That it's not, and only accumulated together. Like around about 11% do use less than 40 gigs. A lot of people do use 32 with 36%, which is kind of interesting to see. And I think this gives us a good hint where Xbox and PlayStation need to go with the next gen. Anything below 32.
We've been saying this for years.
Yeah,
I don't understand why they've always had low RAM on the console.
Absolutely. Anything below 32 gigs RAM wouldn't make sense, especially with the APU design and the shared memory pool. So, Dutch. Hardware. Hard drive also. Only 50% do use more than a terabyte or more. 50%, 50.11% have 1 terabyte or more.
Dear God, so they're not even installed. They've only got one game installed then, if that's the case.
It's why it feels like funny to me if people say, okay, how can they make the costs available? Obviously, people are okay with a gig. With a terabyte.
Yeah.
Half of all PC gamers have less than 1 terabyte. And honestly, that got me thinking, maybe that is something to consider for the next Xbox. Helix does not need 2 terabytes. Honestly, I have also only 1 terabyte on my Xbox, and I get along with it more than enough. I have like 2-3 games permanently installed, plus the 1 or 2 games that I'm running, and I always have like.
The only thing I will say about this is if Helix is really going hybrid PC, then they just need to adopt the PC storage thing and just have a slot where you can install.
I mean, they do have that now, right? With the little.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like just a generic PC, pop it in.
I mean, I'm just saying, somewhere they need to make compromises to keep the cost in check. And I feel like hard drive space is definitely something where they can make sacrifices. What's the most common display resolution that people use? Because we always talk, is it 4K?
720.
No, it's not 720. 720 is only 0.23% on PC.
Oh, so they've moved up to 1080 now.
1080, exactly. 1080p, 51.9% play on 1080p. How many do play on 4K?
5% or less.
Yeah, 4.8%. And the second primary resolution is 1440p. Yeah, with around about 20%. So Dutch, I find these things really interesting to see. Yeah. because we are having these talks about what do the next gen Xbox need to have, what kind of performance do we need, and if you look realistically on the mass market, people obviously do not care for performance.
No.
It's great when it's there. It's not
what they don't care about, and you tend to find on PC, if you watch any professional PC players, especially on shooters and things like that, and it always used to be on PUBG tournaments and everything, they would really crank down the graphics as far as they can to push up performance.
Absolutely. For especially for multiplayer stuff, people do not care about resolution or details.
Nope.
Frames it is. But it just shows you how scalable the PC platform actually is. Right? We have... why can't I turn my camera on again? Is everything frozen here now? I'm not sure. Did my Discord?
Why are you lying? Why are you lying?
Are you there?
Like you said this game's a...
Okay, we have some technical issues now. Let me know in the chat if you can at least hear me. I'm not sure where the problem is right now, whether it's OBS or Discord acting up weird. 70
or something ridiculous like a 20 series, and you're like, don't tell me that this game's a struggle to get running on console when you can get it running on a 1080. Even if you've got a minimum, you've still got the thing running.
Huh. Dutch, you there?
I'm here, yeah.
Ah, okay. Ah, sorry. I think my Discord just crashed. Okay, but we should be good now again. So sorry, I didn't hear the last thing you said.
Yeah, I was talking mainly for developers in the past, just talking absolute nonsense about how difficult it is to get games running on the consoles, and then releasing their PC stats for the release of the game, and it's a 1080 as the bare minimum.
Yeah.
So, like, if you can get that thing running on a 1080, never complain to me about getting it running on a Series S.
Yeah,
ever.
absolutely.
Waffle.
And I also feel like this is what makes it so interesting. If Xbox is truly going to basically a Windows-based console, and developers do not have to develop like dedicated console versions anymore. They just use the PC version that they already have. Maybe give you some pre-settings in terms of details and visual effects and everything, right?
Yeah.
And then you as a customer have the option, either use the preset that the developer suggests, or tinker around with it yourself and make it the way how you do it. It also brings up the idea again of multiple SKUs, because it would be the easiest thing for Xbox to do a Series S next gen, right? A Helix S. You know what I mean? Because, just turn down the settings. People are... Anyway, most people on PC are not playing it in the high performance of the Helix. They are playing it on something that is on par with an Xbox One.
Yeah.
Or maybe by then an Xbox Series S. But that's where the majority on PC plays it anyway. So why not offer 2 SKUs this time? Because the developers wouldn't have to develop a dedicated version for... That's the thing with the series.
The games are scalable as they do on PC.
Yeah.
If you can get your game running on a 1080, then allow people to make that change themselves on the console. Okay, you don't want the console to run it in 4K. You want it to run at 200 frames a second. Fine.
Yeah,
Use
exactly.
your sliders.
You have the sliders anyway because you're running the PC version.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and we have PCs in all kinds of categories, right? And I feel like the problem with the Series S was not that it's holding anything back in terms of development thing. That's not the issue. But it was that the hard reality for a developer is and was you had to develop a separate version. And you have, if you wanted to publish on Xbox, you have to develop 2 separate versions, right?
Yeah.
The Xbox would definitely remove, with the idea of a Project Helix, that whole thing, because there is only one version. It's the PC version that can run up on a 5090 and obviously still on a 1050. And so, yeah. Maybe they do that 2 SKU approach again, especially if they have the Helix, the premium version, the Helix X, right? Priced at $1,000 and above. I also feel that this was one of the issues with the Series X and S. They were too close together, right?
Yeah.
At some point, we were talking about €150 price delta.
Yeah.
For 350, you could get the Series S. I mean, that dropped down to 300 then. And so but whether you pay 300 or $500, it really doesn't make, for a lot of people, doesn't make too much of a difference if you think about, I'm buying a console to have it for 7 or 8 years. What are the $200 extra investment? I think that this was one of the issues, maybe, that they were priced too close together. But if the Helix costs you, let's say, $1,100, and you have the S at $500, big price gap in between the two.
Yeah.
Obviously, then also a big gap in performance. But then a 2 SKU option actually makes more sense. Adding on top of the whole developers don't have to develop a separate version thing, I could see that being a thing that might happen, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, interesting stuff here, Dutch, with the Steam thing.
It always is. When I've always looked at it in the past, because in the past it hasn't been too dissimilar. You always find out that the majority own really terrible rigs. Like, really terrible rigs, and most of them can't play modern games.
Absolutely. And again, if you think about the price equivalent that you would, in the year 2026, on 17th April 2026, go out and build a PC from scratch with housing and motherboard and power supply and everything for $1,000, and tell me what kind of equivalent you will get. So even if the Helix goes to $1,000 or above, it could still offer be a good, price.
What I've always laughed at as well is thing. What I was always laughed at as well is like, I said, well, not only do you have to buy a PC for $1,000, but you'd also have to get the peripherals within that, because let's face it, the Xbox and/or PlayStation will come with a controller.
Yeah.
So therefore, you need either a keyboard and mouse. In fact, you will, because it's PC, and/or a controller.
Yeah.
You will need to factor in those costs within it as well. Not just the build of the PC, but also the peripherals. Yeah,
agree. And then people sometimes just argue, for $1,000 I can get a 5070 Ti, maybe, right? Because even the 5080 is now way above $1,000. I think at the moment here in Germany it sits around 1,300, and that only gives you a GPU.
Yeah, so the cheapest
motherboard,
deal I can see on
RAM.
here, cheapest deal I can see at the moment for £1,000, and this is with a saving of £150, is on a store called Very in the UK, and people in the UK will know what Very is. And it's a HP Omen 16L gaming desktop, which has a GeForce RTX 5060 and Ryzen 5 with 16 gig of RAM and 1 terabyte SSD.
We are talking 5060 here,
bucks. A 5060.
Right?
Exactly.
5060.
For $1,000.
For $1,000. Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah. That does not come with a keyboard, by the way.
Agree. Yeah. So yeah, it will be interesting to see, man, where these next gen consoles will take us performance wise. And again, looking at these Steam numbers, looking at what could be an equivalent to SKU approach might even make more sense than ever before. With a bigger price delta than we had with the Series X and S, but I think we will have to look into the fact that consoles will cost us $1,000 or more.
Yeah,
it's just what it is. Okay, Dutch. Let's move to the community questions of this week. Each and every week, people can write in. You guys can write in and ask us questions or topics to discuss. So did Sith Lord this week, and wrote this, or asked this simple question: should Xbox games go back to being exclusive? So that, I think we covered that earlier in the show pretty much. I think it would be good for the industry, for the console industry, for the competition.
For everything, for competition.
Yeah.
Considering PlayStation have been absolutely non-existent over this last 3 years.
Exactly. If you want to if you're a PlayStation gamer and you want Sony to do better, you should root for exclusives on Xbox to get that ecosystem stronger. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. The Big Bridge writes in. Have a happy podcast. We have over here an R meter, a mad scientifically tested device which can accurately measure the R level in video game cutscenes on a scale of 0 to 10. I need your help in suggesting a video game cutscene that will push it way past the 10 mark. What's one video game cutscene that will break the R scale with its overwhelming awesomeness? For him, it's either Yuna's sending from Final Fantasy X or the high altitude jump at the start of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Dutch.
Any of the cinematics from Diablo 4.
I mean, they are pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of visual...
Especially with, and I'm forgetting the name of the characters now, with
Lilith
and the opposing one, the light.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
The final battle at the end.
Something with an I. Yeah, I'm blanking on the name, but I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, that final battle scenario is just absolutely bonkers.
I mean, obviously, in terms of like visual aesthetics and setup and epicness, the Blizzard cutscenes are top notch, and the Diablo 4 is definitely a good choice. I mean, Blur 2 also made pretty awesome cutscenes. If you think back to like cutscenes from Halo 2 and so on, pretty awesome.
Actually, was it Halo 5's intro sequence that was absolutely nuts, with us going down the slope?
Yes, that was
a fantastic intro sequence.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh yeah. If anything, despite Halo's story being poorly received, that intro sequence.
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely wow. I was thinking more like, because you can either judge them from like epicness and setup, and set pieces and everything, and the quality of the visual quality of the cutscene. There were also like a couple of cutscenes that hit pretty hard from an emotional point of view. I remember Gears 3, the Dom scene, not spoiling anything, hopefully, but you remember when he gets into that truck?
Yeah.
Dude, that was also one. I was sitting there like, they are not doing that, right? No way they're doing that.
Yeah. Oh, they did.
Though they did. I mean, in recent memory, also like Expedition 33 comes to mind. There was also some, from an emotional standpoint, pretty hard hitting stuff in there.
Yeah.
The opening scene alone. I mean, whoa. Yeah, man. But I feel Blizzard is a good choice when it comes to jaw-dropping cutscenes. Definitely. All right, Dutch. Let's wrap it up for this week. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who joined us here live today. As always, it has been an absolute blast. Since we have been on a Friday here, we've seen a couple of names in the chat that we usually didn't see on Thursdays, because not everyone can make it on a Thursday, right? Especially in the US, I know it's the middle of the day and sometimes it can be challenging. So it's been great to see you guys here live in chat. Big thank you to our listeners that do listen on audio, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening. Thank you so much for making it to the end. Dutch, any words from you before we let everyone out?
No, I hope everyone has a lovely weekend and enjoys playing games and relaxes, and we shall catch you all on the flip side.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. We will be back next Thursday, hopefully. Yeah, right?
Yep.
Not on a Friday, on the usual spot on Thursday. I can't wait for the weekend, man. I'm going to finish up the epilogue of Crimson Desert, going to play some replays, and going back to Starfield. So I have a lot to cover here on the gaming front.
Nice.
Can't wait. All right, guys. That's it for this week. Again, a big thank you for tuning in. We hope to see you guys next week, and don't forget to game on.